Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan. I have 8 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security, and analysis of Hindu newspaper. This video is about how to crack prelims 2020 by Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. But prior to that, you have a notification for the learners to subscribe Crack UPSC CSE, which is India's largest learning platform. And once you subscribe, you will get access to unlimited live and recorded classes from India's best educators. And the privileges you have once you subscribe are you will have daily live classes wherein you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and be part of the answer polls. You can also have live tests and quizzes wherein you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock tests and quizzes, and you would also get detailed analysis on your performance. You also have structured courses wherein all our courses are structured in line with UPSC exam syllabus, which will help you for best preparation. You have unlimited access. Once you subscribe, you will get access to all our live and recorded courses where you can watch from your mobile or laptop. You have top educators at Unacademy. They are Sudarshan Gurjar, Ayush Sanghi, Prakash Kumar and Mrunal Patel. You have special classes by Dr. Roman Saini sir, by Dr. Siddharth Arora, by Lokendra Chauhan, by Rakesh Verma and Ashish Malik. You also have the upcoming courses which are lined up in our platform Unacademy Plus. That is the capsule course on 250 multiple choice questions for UPSC preliminary. You have comprehensive course on public administration. You have capsule course on geography optional. You also have Let's Crack UPSC CSE 2021. And in regards to the UPSC CSE subscription, you have 12-month subscription and you also have 24-month subscription. For 12 months, the original price is 40,000 and for 24 months, it is 52,000. And when you use my code SBT10, you will get an additional 10% discount. For 12 months, you will get discount of 10% and the amount would be 36,000. And once you use my code for SBT10 for 24 months, you will get an additional 10% discount and the price would come up to 46,800. And for civil services preparation, it is always recommended that you be part of the preparation for minimum 12 to and then 24 months, and the serious students are always recommended to go ahead with 24 months preparation, and thereby you can go ahead with subscribing 24 months and then get the benefit out of it. So what is the benefit is that you will get 24 months subscription for only for the amount you pay for 1 year plus 1 month. When you pay for the amount of 12 months plus 1 month, that is equivalent to the amount you would be paying for the 24 months. So take the maximum benefit and make sure that you go ahead with live classes, not only my live classes but also the top educators at Unacademy in regards to all other subjects. And the topics what we would discuss in regards to the analysis of the Hindu newspaper would be the call data, the LCA Tejas, virus Dix, and then the RBI to infuse. Now we will look at the first one, that is call data, and the news in the paper is in regards to call data being used to improve quality. So what is that the government is trying to use the call data? The government is definitely trying to use the call data to improve the quality. So it is making sure that the quality of the service why the telecommunication is improved, that means in regards to the network quality is improved, thereby there is no doubt that it is, your or my data is under surveillance. So the privacy is protected, but the at the same time making sure that they improve the quality of service in regards to the telecommunication network. So the article, the news item talks about the call data. So on March 18, 2020, that is this month, the government has asserted, or it has said, that the data is being collected and it is analyzed, and it is being collected so that there is a analyze or analyzing being done, and then there is improving the quality of telecom services. So the main motto of collecting the data is to analyze and improve the quality of the telecom services. And the government has very clearly ruled out any form of surveillance on the call data or the information of each and every individual who are part of the telecommunication networks. So the government is not going ahead with the call data, usage of the call data, not for surveillance, but it is definitely in regards to the analysis and improve of the quality of the telecom services. The government has also stressed that this data is anonymous. That means the government is making sure that whatever the data they are using, they are unaware of the individuals, who the data pertains to, whom, anonymous. So they do not know who is the owner of the data. There is no infringement of privacy. So it is making it very clear that there is not there any kind of surveillance, thereby there is no infringement of privacy of any person in regards to their data, and then no personal details are collected. When the government says that it is anonymous, so definitely it is very clear and we can understand that no individual's personal data is collected by the government of India or the telecommunication, and there is no tracking of any phone number. So whatever the kind of inhibitions are being prevailed by many of them, or the citizens or the netizens, that the data being collected, call data being collected by the government of telecommunication would be under surveillance, and this could be an infringement of individuals' privacy. Thereby the government is giving an explanation that no personal data are collected, and then whatever data they are holding is anonymous. They do not have the name of any particular individual's call data, and there is no tracking of any phone numbers. That means the government is very clear that whatever the inhibitions have been raised with the netizens, that it is being ruled out and it is not going ahead with any kind of surveillance. And then the Department of Telecommunication has also said that because there are numerous complaints which are being piled up, or which are actually being popped up in regards to the by the netizens in regards to the quality of service of the telecommunication network. So the Department of Telecommunication says that as there are numerous complaints by the users in regards to the quality of service, so they are making sure that they use the data, and by using the data they wanted to make sure that there is a software tool which is in place to analyze this big data, to make it very clear that they are trying to improve the quality of the service, and there is nothing outside that there is a surveillance. And then Department of Telecommunication, they are worried about the call drops, they worried about the echo and cross connections, and also poor caller experience they are facing. Based on these complaints, they are using the data, and the data is used which by the DOT, wherein they have a developed software tool to analyze the data, which is a big data, and then to overcome the kind of complaints and then give a better services to the netizens. And then the DOT also has asserted that the government was already empowered under Rule 419, that is 419 of the Indian Telegraph Rules 1951. So here again, from prelims point of view, what is important is what is Rule 419 of Indian Telegraph Rules 1951 as per the Department of Telecommunications. So for the prelims point of view, your focus has to be when the government is making clear that the data whatever they have used or they are using is not for the surveillance, but and it is not infringing on any personal privacy details, but it is only for the sake of improving the quality of service. And this is based on, I mean, the data of the individuals can be used by the government, and it is very clear that the government or the DOT has the empowerment that it can use the data based on the rule 419 of the Indian Telegraph Rules 1951. I assert this, and then make sure that it is useful for the prelims, and then you keep a track of this rule 419. Now we will look at what is rule 419 of the Indian Telegraph Rules 1951. So 419, the first point in regards to the 419, rule 419 of the Indian Telegraph Rules 1951 talks about, or it gives directions for the interceptions of any message. So it gives the empowerment of the government by rule 1419 is that it can intercept or interception of any message or class of messages under subsection 2 of section 5 of Indian Telegraph Act 1885. So again, from prelims point of view, section 5 of the Indian by the rule 419 of the Indian Telegraph Rules 1951, which again falls under subsection 2 of the section 5 of the Indian Telegraph 5, shall not be issued except by an order. So this act can be issued, that is 419 rule of Telegraph Rules 1951, which again under section 2 of Telegraph Act 1885 can be issued, or it shall not be issued except any order made by the very higher authority, that is the Secretary to the Government of India in the Ministry of Home Affairs. So this falls under the Ministry of Home Affairs. So rule 419 of the Indian Telegraph Rules 1951 can be issued if it is in the preliminary statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 and statement 4. There could be Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Telegraph, or Ministry of Telecommunication, Ministry of Home Affairs, of Ministry of Personnel. So there you should not get confused that it is under the Department of Telecommunication, but 419 rule 419 is issued, or there would be there can be an order made by the Secretary to the Government of India in the Ministry of Home Affairs. A very important for prelims point of view. In the case of Government of India, and by the Secretary to the state government in charge of the Home Department, whether if it is in the case of the State Department. So if it is in the case of the central government, Ministry of Home Affairs, Central Ministry, that is Government of India. If it is in the case of the state, that is Secretary of the state government in charge of Home Department for the state government. And it also says that in unavoidable circumstances, such orders made by the Secretary of State could be by the Central Ministry or Home Ministry or the State Home Ministry, may be made by an officer not below the rank of Joint Secretary. Again here, for prelims point of view, the UPSC can consider it as statement 1, 2, 3, 4. So who is the appointing authority to make an order or to issue an order? Which among the following? So it is the Joint Secretary to the Government of India, who has duly authorized by the Union Home Secretary or the Union State Home Secretary. So it falls under the Home Secretary, which is under the Ministry of Home Affairs, which again the 419 can be used, or it can be directed for the interception of any messages under the subsection 2 of the section 5 of the Indian Telegraph Act 1885. Again talking about the rule 419 of Indian Telegraph Rules 1951. So here 1951, you have to think or little concentrate on 1885 subsection 2, and then in regards to Ministry of Home Affairs, and then the appointing authority or the issuing of the order is by the Secretary to the Government of India or the Joint Secretary rank, at least not below the officer who is made to make an order in unavoidable circumstances. Again, this is a different issue, I mean different scenario. When it is unavoidable circumstances wherein the secretary to the government of India, it could be central or to the state, is not available, and then it is an unavoidable circumstances in the absence of the secretary, then an officer who is made not below the rank of joint secretary can issue the order in regards to home secretary or state secretary. Again, prelims point of view, we have discussed, I mean various points in regards to the usage or call data, usage of call data to improve quality. This is, it looks just as a news item, but there is lot in the prelims point of view. So it is always important that how you try to look at an news, and then how best we can try to pick up the points or the important questions, probable questions from the particular news item. So here he has given, just he has talked about rule 419, but here we are discussing about again what constitutes all this. So this is not given in the newspaper, but your preparation has to be in such a way that you try to probe little bit further. You have to think out of the box, you have to think little bit different from your peer group. Only then it is possible that you can crack prelims, and then that you can go ahead with the sessions by what you say analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And the next one you have is the LCA Tejas. So wherein here there was a nod for 83 light combat aircraft Tejas Mk1A. So we are getting ready by more number of ammunition, and it is very important at this juncture that India's national security is kept intact and our national interest is kept intact, and then national security, internal security along with the borders, India's security with the borders has to be taken care. And then at this volatile situation when we are experiencing, that is India experiencing a lot of volatile situation with India, with the neighboring countries, especially with the Pakistan and also with Bangladesh, not very high, but with Bangladesh and the northeastern states of India, with the Myanmar, we also have little bit with in regards to the China. So it is very important that we be equipped so that we will be, or we are in a position that we counter the right manner, or the way the countries are expecting that we will not react. So we have to be ready with the fully equipped and the latest technological equipment and the ammunition, so that we are protecting our national interest. And in regards to that, the Defense Acquisition Council, DAC, again here this is very important in regards to the prelims point of view. Defense Acquisition Council has, which which generally is chaired by the defense minister, and here it is in regards to the Rajnath Singh. He has approved for the procurement of 83 indigenous light combat aircraft, that is Tejas Mk1A, from, not from any international makers, but it was from indigenous. This is important again from for prelims point of view. 83 indigenous LCA Tejas Mk1A by or from the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, that is HAL, and it is costing, the price of the deal is 39,000 crore rupees. So again, for prelims point of view, we have gone ahead with, that is the defense ministry has gone ahead with procurement of 83 LCA Tejas Mk1A from the indigenous manufacturer, that is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, with a cost of, the deal is of expecting a cost of 39,000 crore, and then this is done by the Defense Acquisition Council. This is important when you are looking at this news item. So why it is important, we will try to understand it in the due course of the explanation, that how well this could be a probable question for the prelims point of view. And the proposal will now be placed for the consideration of the Cabinet Committee on Security. So again here, this is important for prelims point of view and also mains point of view, especially focusing here the prelims point of view. So here one is the Defense Acquisition Council and the other one is in regards to the Cabinet Committee on Security. So why am I emphasizing this is because when you are looking at an news, you just, I mean generally the aspirant just reads and then just thinks that he has completed the newspaper, he or she. But what is important is what are the keywords involved in it, and what are the keywords actually the ministry is talking about, or the department is talking about, or how the acquisition in this case is taking place, and how this could be a probable question. The keyword could be the probable question in the prelims, or it could be in the mains. So that kind of attitude, that kind of in regards to your focus has to be that you have to pick up the keywords from the newspaper, that is the news item. So your job is not to just read newspaper, but make sure that you are picking up the keywords, and these keywords are the one which will make you, or you will have an edge over others in the prelims. And take it for granted, if your preparation is in such a way that you will get an edge over others in the prelims, make sure that mains writing is would be little bit, or it would be comparatively easy for you, rather than preparing the time allocated, or the time, or the kind of investment you are doing for the prelims. Because understanding and then trying to identify and pick up the keywords are very important for prelims point of view. I reassure, I'm reiterating this statement, because your the strategy for preparation has to be this. So keywords are important here in regards to the Defense Acquisition Council, and also in regards to the Cabinet Committee on Security. The DAC, that is the Defense Acquisition Council, has given initial clearance. So here in this, in regards to the procurement of the LCA Tejas, the first one which enters into, or which comes into the picture, is the DAC, and then whatever initial clearance has been given, then next the clearance has to be sent for the consideration of the Cabinet Committee on Security. And this again later on will be issued by the request for proposal. That means we have to go ahead with the request for proposal. So the DSC had given initial clearance in the year 2016 itself for this 83 indigenous LCA Tejas MK1A, and then the Indian Air Force, on the by the clearance by the DSC, the next step was the IAF has issued a request for proposals. Once this is done internally, it was done in the year 2017. Once it is done in the year 2017, then now it is been placed for the consideration of Cabinet Committee on Security. So what is important for us for the prelims point of view is DSC, and then CCS, that is Defense Acquisition Council, Cabinet Committee on Security, and then request for proposal by the IAF. And we will look at about what is Defense Acquisition Council. So what is Defense Acquisition Council is that the group of ministers have recommended for reforming the national security system. So what was the need for the emergence, or for uh, the DSC to come into existence? It was reforming the national security system. So again, for prelims point of view, a keyword, reforming the national security. So earlier I was talking about the importance of national security, the kind of threat we are facing with our neighboring countries. It could be Pakistan, China, or else even in regards to the northeastern states with the Myanmar or Bangladesh. So it is our interest that we have to focus on the national interest, and to reform the national security system, the Ministry of Defense has passed an order, that is on 11th October 2010, and then it has set up a broad structures and systems to deal with the acquisitions on the capital account. So it was in the year 2001, in the month of October, the Ministry of Defense has thought very clear, or very practically, that there is a need to reform the national security system. And when there was a kind of opinion that the reforming the national security system is imperative, the need of the Defense Acquisition Council has actually come into existence or force. And then the Defense Acquisition Council under the Defense Minister was constituted for overall guidance and the defense procurement planning process. So ultimately, the DSC is for procuring the defense equipments, and in the process of procuring the defense equipment, it goes ahead with defense procurement planning process. So it does planning process for the defense procurement. So we have understood what is DSC for prelims point of view, why actually it has come, and the group of ministers they have recommended for reforming the national security system in the year 2001, and its purpose is to go ahead with defense procurement planning process. For in regards to DSC, if a question is asked in prelims, you are well thorough with the all the information. And we will look at the objectives of the DSC. The objective of the DSC is to make sure that it ensures expeditious procurement. It is not just going ahead with the defense procurement planning process. That means the defense minister, it's just not defense procurement planning process, but it makes sure that the entire process is done in a very expeditious process, that is in a very fast manner. And then this approval or requirement by the armed forces is taken into consideration. That means all the terms and of the capabilities are sought, it is asked, and the time frame is prescribed by optimally utilizing and allocating budgeted resources. So defense procurement planning process by the DAC will be done taking into consideration what is the time, that is whether we are really in need of the procuring the arms and ammunition, and then also the need, and also looking at whether we have the budget. That means as per the allocated budget resources, the DAC goes ahead with procurement planning process. I repeat, go ahead with procurement planning process based on the allocated budgetary resources. And we will look at the functions of the DAC. So as we have gone through, or we have looked at what is DAC, when it has actually formed, and what is the main objective of it. It is in regards to the processing, planning the process, not only just planning process, making sure that it is the process is expedited, and the process is expedited taking into consideration of the particular time, the need of the time, and then again considering with the budget allocation. So now we will look at the functions of the DAC. In principle, the approval will be for 15-year long integrated perspective plan. So whatever the planning takes place, the function of the DAC is in regards to the objective planning take place. So this planning, procurement planning process, it is taken into consideration keeping in mind the approval for at least 15-year long-term integrated perspective plan. So again, for prelims point of view, if there is a question in regards to the which amongst the following are not the functions of the DAC, because now this is in the news, there could be possibility in the May that on May, this is 2020 prelims, that there could be possibility about the functions of the DAC. So we have to look at the news in regards to that, wherein we will get closer to cracking the prelims 2020. And the next function is acceptance of necessity. So whatever the acquisition proposals, procurement proposal, planning proposals are made, it actually looks into whether it is having any acceptance of necessity, that is as per the time, as per the budgetary allocation, whether it is really required, whether it is we really require it, and whether there is necessity for it to procure the arms and ammunition. And then in regards to categorization of acquisition proposals relating to, so one of the function is to categorize. What to categorize? The acquisition proposals. How to categorize the acquisition proposals is whether we have to buy, or whether we have to buy and make, or whether we have to make. So there are three categories, which is one of the functions of the DAC. The categorization in regards to acquisition proposal is, I repeat once again, it is buy and make, and it is make. Again, for prelims point of view, we are discussing very effectively in regards to the functions of DAC. And please bear it in mind, these are very important for prelims point of view. The way you look at it, the way you decipher the newspaper, the way you decipher the each and every news item should be done in this process, this manner. And there are the other functions is in regards to the issues relating to single vendor clearance. So it is the need of the hour, and it is depending, or it is totally under the control of the defense ministry by the DAC, that whether the it has to, I mean, the purchase has to be, or the procurement has to be whether by the single vendor. If it is that, then all the issues will be cleared for the single vendor clearance. And then the function, other function is the decision regarding offset provisions. So this is the decision regarding the offset provision. So what is this offset provision? When it comes into picture, that is in respect of acquisition proposals above rupees 300 crores. So whenever there is a proposal, acquisition or procurement which is more than 300 crores of rupees, then a decision will be taken in regards to the offset provision, wherein it can consider the offset provision. And the other function is in regards to decisions regarding transfer of technology under buy and make category of acquisition proposal. So here we were talking about the different categories of acquisition proposal, that is buy and make, and also make. So there is a decision regarding the transfer of technology. When we are talking about transfer of technology, this is very important to India as a developing country. Whenever it goes ahead with defense procurement, or whenever it goes ahead with making sure that a better technology we are trying to purchase, so whether it has to be that we buy it or we buy it and make it, what the government of the day is focusing or insisting is that rather than just buy and make, we are wanting that we will buy and make, but let there be transfer of technology. So once this transfer of technology is being done by the country from where we are purchasing or from where we are procuring, so just by buying we are not really gaining any benefit. Okay, no doubt we would be getting the arms and ammunition, or the kind of the new equipments we would be having in India, but that is not we would actually want it at this time. As we are developing, we want to further develop in such a way that we are edging towards developed country. So when we wanted to edge or get to the developed country, we need to have the technology. So one thing is to develop technology indigenously, or else if we are unable to go ahead with developing the technology indigenously, and to develop a technology, it will certainly go ahead with what do you say, a time limit, wherein it could be 1 decade, 1.5 or 2 decades. So it could be a time which could be very lengthy time. So in that regards, the government of India tries to negotiate with the country wherein we are procuring on the basis of transfer of technology. So we would buy and make based on the transfer of technology. So wherein it will be useful for India, wherein the transfer of technology has been done, and then further we can again try to build varied technologies, and then we can also develop the indigenous technology within India. And then the other function is a field trial evaluation. So we have seen the effective functions of the DAC, which could be the probable questions for prelims. So now we will just recap what could be the probable questions as per the today's newspaper in regards to the prelims 2020. So we have seen Rule 419 of Indian Telegraph Rules 1951. We have also looked at surveillance. We have looked at no infringement of privacy. And then we have looked at subsection 2 of section 5 of the Indian Telegraph Act 1885, and then rule 419 of Indian Telegraph Rules 1951, wherein it has been issued by an order by the Secretary of the Government of India in regards to Ministry of Home Affairs, and if it is in regards to state government, it is the Secretary to the state. And then in any unavoidable circumstances, the issue or the order can be issued by an officer not below rank of Joint Secretary for the Government of India, and for the state it is from the State Home Secretary. For prelims point of view, I am just trying to recap it. And then in regards to the LCA Tejas, we have looked at Defence Acquisition Council, we have looked at Cabinet Committee on Security CCS, we have looked at request for proposal, this is a keyword, and then we also looked at the group of ministers, how it has actually DSA has come into existence, that is by reforming the national security system. And then also in regards to the guideline, that is defense procurement planning process. And then what is the objective is to expedite the procurement process, that too by optimal utilizing the budget. And then we have looked at the functions are 15-year long term. And then in regards to categorization, we have seen buy and make, and then make. And then we have also seen that transfer of technology and what is a necessity and the benefit of transfer of technology for India at this moment under buy and make category. And then the other function is field and track. So the other one what we look at is the virus digs. So we are all aware that the COVID-19 is really causing chaos across the world, not only in regards to the lives, but also it is affecting not only in regards to the health system, public health system, but it also has affected, and it is still affecting the economy of all the countries, respective countries, individual countries, not only individual countries, in total it is affecting the global economy. So virus has digged in its heels, and then as it is increasing, the number of cases are increasing in various countries. It is also, I mean, we can see the shocks which is impacting on the economy. So first and foremost, it is impacting on the stock markets, and then the stock markets, that is equity markets in various countries are being badly hit. Thereby the global equities are being badly hit. And then when we look at this news item in regards to the stock markets being plunged to the lowest in 3 years. So this is a news wherein the stock markets have been plunged very drastically lower, which it hasn't experienced in the last 3 years. That means it was in 2017, and the next one is now in the 2020. So the equity indices in the Indian market has been very badly hit now, which was last time in 2017, and it is seriously reeling under selling pressure, because there is a lot of concern that this might impact the global economy, and thereby the panic is happening, and then selling panic is taking place. Because of this, the global economy is also shrinking, and because of the selling panic what is taking place, or the pressure of the selling is in the minds of the investors, the foremost is that the private investors, and then also in regards to the foreign portfolio investors, that is the FPIs, are also continuously under the selling pressure to sell, and they have pressed the sell button, and then the net sales are pegged to around 5,000 crore rupees. That means the amount of money wherein the FPIs have pulled out of Indian market is 5,000 crores of rupees, because of the panic of the coronavirus, and that is the amount which has been now the deficit in the Indian equity market. And the biggest losers of the Sensex are the IndusInd Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and then Bajaj Finance, and then the HDFC Bank. And because of this, we have seen not only the India is facing this, all the other or the major countries in the world, their markets have been badly hit. That is, even in regards to the Asian market, Asian indices, and also the European markets, even the US markets, even the Australian markets have been badly hit, and then they have experienced the total plunge in the global equity markets. And then because of this, we have also experienced that, because I mean on the sidelines, or because of the oil price, because of the COVID, which is really hitting badly the global economy. Along with that, the one which is adding fuel is the drop in oil prices. And this has been badly hit for the US crude futures. So because US crude futures have been badly hit by an, what do you say, all time year low, it is being hit, the US markets have hit by an all-time 18-year low, and then the Brent, that is the crude oil, is low since almost last 16 years. I mean, it has never experienced last 16 years. And then the crude futures, the way it is futures it is experiencing now, it has never experienced, I mean, before 18 years. So that is the impact of the COVID-19. Along with that, the oil prices, which has flashed, have really brought down the entire global markets to a standstill. Because of this, there is some good news for the e-tailers. So what is the good news is that, as there is lot of preventive measures which have been taken into consideration in India, especially that mass gatherings should not take place, and then we have to make sure that we are going ahead with the, or we are implementing in a true spirit, the social gathering should not take place, or social distancing has to be taken into priority. Because of social distancing, there is a sudden surge in sales for the e-tailers, that is especially on the online shopping. And then why these online shoppings have really made some benefit by the e-tailers is because we have seen that social gatherings should not take place, social distancing has to be maintained, and then there is the education which has been made, or preventive measure, that we should not, I mean, the malls should be shut, or the supermarkets and the crowded open bazaar should be shut, so that the social distancing can be maintained. And then we have the red cedar management consulting, we have the Amazon, Walmart, or else in regards to Snapdeal, and then also online grocery, that is Super Daily. And then we have all these which are grocers also, which are one of which are few of the retailers which have benefited by the COVID-19, or else by the preventive measures wherein the government of India has, along with the Ministry of Health, has taken or given the precautionary measures. And then you have the news in regards to RBI to infuse, again talking about the global economy, and then that impacting the Indian economy because of the COVID-19. We have seen that the price, the economy is decreasing. That is, it is impacting negatively on the GDP. So to overcome that, the RBI has come up with tightening the financial conditions to make sure that there is more of liquidity in the market. As we know that there is shortage of liquidity, to increase the liquidity in the market, the RBI is trying to infuse, or it is coming up with the measures to infuse more of liquidity in the market, and one of the measure is by tightening the financial conditions. And with the tightening of the financial conditions, we can see it in regards to hardening of the yields and then widening of spreads. So this is making sure that the financial or the liquidity will be increased by the RBI by tightening of the financial condition. And the other one is to make sure that the RBI is trying to infuse that market segments remains liquid and stable, and then they function normally. So it is the duty of the RBI to make sure that there is, I mean, no panic even in the market, that there is no, I mean, there is shortfall of the liquidity, or the liquidity crunch which is actually prevailing in the market. But if at all it is happening, not at a greater extent, but it is also experienced, markets are experiencing, and the economy, Indian economy is certainly experiencing it. But it is a duty of the RBI to make sure that it the liquidity or the stability is maintained normally. And the Reserve Bank of India is to infuse 10,000 crore of liquidity in the banking system. Why? Because when there is no money with the banks, then it is very difficult to make sure that there is money with the people. When there is money with the banks, then definitely there will be money with the people. That is, liquidity will be, some money will be in the circulation, more of liquidity in the market. So thereby, to make sure that there is more liquidity in the banks, the RBI has decided to infuse 10,000 crore of liquidity in the banking sector. Thereby, how? By a process called as open market operation. So again, for prelims point of view, this keyword or this term called as open market operation is very important. So what does, or how can the RBI infuse 10,000 crore of liquidity into the banking system by the open market operation? Is by buying government securities. So RBI can buy the government securities by the process, that is through open market operation. So keyword open market operation is important for prelims point of view. So we will look at what is open market system for the benefit of prelims 2020. So open market operation is the sales and purchase, of government securities and the treasury bills by RBI or the central bank of the country. So please do understand here, the open market operation, OMO, is the sale and purchase. This is very important. It doesn't restrict to sale or it doesn't restrict to purchase of government securities and treasury bills by RBI. It is in regards to sale and purchase. Now we will just look at the previous slide and then we will understand here. The government says that we will infuse 10,000 crore of liquidity by buying government securities through open market operation. So here it is buying. Now we have looked at here it can go ahead with sale and purchase. That is, it can buy and it can also sell. So there is two operations which takes place in OMO operation. Two types of, one is sale, one is purchase. So when the sale, actually RBI looks at, what do you say, purchasing it, or when the RBI looks at buying it or selling it. So it depends upon the situation, depends upon the crunch of the liquidity, depends upon the excess of liquidity. So depending upon the liquidity in the market, it goes ahead with OMO. And the objective of the OMO is to regulate the money supply in the economy. This is very important for prelims point of view. To regulate the money supply, that means to regulate the liquidity in the economy. That means it is a duty of the RBI to make sure that there is no excess of money in the market, there is no shortage of money in the market. So if there is excess or shortage, there is a problem. So we have to make, it is a duty of, or the responsibility of the RBI to make sure that the money is, the liquidity of the money or the liquidity in the market is stable or balanced. And then the other one is, when the RBI wants to increase the money supply, when the RBI wants to increase the money supply in the economy, it purchases. So this is very important for prelims point of view. Make sure you are trying to focus this point for better understanding for prelims point of view, and also when it is also asked in the mains in the economy, the objectives of the OMO or the kind of operations taken up by the methods taken up by the RBI to infuse the liquidity in the banking sector. So OMO. So whenever the RBI wants to increase, whenever it wanted to increase, it will purchase. the government securities. And then whenever it wanted to suck out the liquidity, that means when it feels that there is more money with the people, more money in the market, then it is a responsibility that of the RBI to suck the money. That means to make sure that there is there is not more of liquidity, or else the balance has to take place. So in that regards, it will sell the government securities. So purchasing and selling is very important for the RBI. It does it through the OMO, and then depending upon the liquidity money supply, whether to increase it or whether to suck out. Very important for prelims point of view. Please make sure that you are following thoroughly, and then you keep a track of it even later on till 2020 prelims. And then RBI also carries out OMO through commercial banks, only through commercial banks, does not directly deal with the public. So this open market operation RBI goes into, or RBI does, is only with the commercial banks but not with the public. And it is a tool that RBI uses to smoothen the liquidity, as we were discussed by the above points. And then through the year it minimizes its impact. Why it wanted to, or how does it smoothen the liquidity? What is the need to smoothen the liquidity? Because to make sure that whatever the impact created by the interest rates or the inflation, or because of the interest rates high, how the repo rates, reverse repo rates would be what do you say handled, and if there is more of inflation, how does it been, how to contain the CPI and WPI. So RBI uses the OMO as a tool to smoothen the liquidity. Again, this is another keyword. So we have discussed at length today for the prelims point of view, which will be useful for the prelims point of view. Make sure that you also follow the newspaper in this way, which will be useful or benefited for you, not only now but also not only for the prelims 2020 but also for the prelims 2021 and also for the mains 2020. And I hope this session was very informative and knowledgeable. And then you please like, subscribe and hit the bell button when you're viewing or watching the YouTube video, that is the video Let's Crack UPSC Civil Services Examination English. And then you can also subscribe my channel, this Unacademy subscription channel, by using my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10, and you can get additional 10% discount on the subscription. So thank you. See you tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.